it's Mike with the 61 Beetle and the 66 split bus. Like or subscribe if you want to help me get to 1,000 subscribers. Today I am working on my Bluetooth mounting bracket. So you guys may have seen before, I have this Marine Bluetooth thing here, which is the Kenwood, and this works great. And you can see it has a super long cable, and right now I have it coming through this hole. And I had thought about putting this inside the glove box, but I decided I like it best right here, kind of by the right knee, and so I figured I had to make a bracket. So in order to make a bracket, I was considering this type of thing. That's 22 gauge steel. Then I considered this, L iron, but what I wound up doing was actually taking a big piece of steel, pretty thick piece of steel, as well as an extra, I had this guy here, which is actually the little bracket that goes under the armrest, and I had an extra one, so this was a useful shape, and I welded that in place. And the way this looks now, so it's not like super pretty, but it's actually really, really commercially industrial strength. And then the way this is gonna go, and I'll show as I install this, but this thing just goes inside of this thing like this, and it should pop into place. And then the way the bracket looks, you see the little bolt, the little for the steering box, so I can't ground the steering column, remember that from before, but this is going to go right onto that bolt. And then this side here, which has the slant down, I'm just going to drill a little hole right by the ignition and have one little bolt going through. So this thing is going to be, it'll be a little further forward than these gauges are, but it's going to roughly be here, and I'll be able to control my Bluetooth from there. So I will show the progress as I put that in, but basically what I'm going to do, I have to open the front trunk, and I have to make sure that I'm not going to mess anything up by drilling one little hole here. And then I have to put this in the steering column bolt. And then what I decided I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this as the place where the cable comes through. I'm going to wrap it around here behind, and then it's going to come up like this, and the excess cable will be inside. And then here is going to be where my iPhone holder bolts in. I'm going to probably make something to do that. And then here is going to be where a Bluetooth, see, this hole doesn't even belong there, but I'm going to make it, I'll have to make it a tiny bit bigger. And I have a double USB, it's a double USB panel mount, which is going to bolt right into there, and I think that's going to actually work out great. So that's the plan. So let's see, I'm going to stop the video now, and then as I do it, I'll show the progress. So by the way, the trunk carpet, so with the spare tire and the trunk carpet here going over this, and my wiring cover here, now that I've got that working well, it looks really, really clean in this front trunk area. So I got to, pull all this out, and I have to do the final things for, I'm going to put a 5-inch speaker in there. I'm going to wire up the USB port to come out that one. I'm going to pull the excess cable back for the Bluetooth to come back and fix that properly. And I have to obviously wire the USB to the 12 volts, wire the speaker, and then I'll put all this back, and it's going to wind up looking exactly like this. But I think it looks great. All right, well, I'm at the point where I'm going to install the Bluetooth holder. So here's what I've got here. I've got this as my bracket, which I've sprayed with rust reformer primer and the black gloss, and let it dry really well. So it has two sides. It has this left side here. It's going to go where the steering column support is, and then this side here where I have to drill my own hole. And the way it looks. I'll show you just how this looks here, which is there's a little bracket, and the bracket fits in like this. So it's this bracket, I made it side to side a little too loose, but top to bottom it's actually pretty snug, so it does wind up holding it in there in place really well. And then in the back, a little screw goes right in here, and that holds it in place. So this should fit right here. And what I have to first do is get this. It's a I believe that's a 10 millimeter, and I need a washer. Well, there's already a nice washer on there, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then I noticed that there is nothing right behind here. There's nothing to prevent me from making a small hole there, and I'm going to do that and do a bolt rather than having a jagged sheet metal pointy screw pointing through there. So right now what I'm going to do is just get this bracket situated on there, and then I'm going to align the hole, and if I need some washer spacers to make sure that this thing is not tilted, I'll do that. All right, I've got this thing installed. So basically I put this little bolt here and it goes up through. I was trying to put the screw end on this side so it wouldn't be as, wouldn't seem so obtrusive, but I then couldn't get the wrench. I don't know. I wound up doing it this way with a lock washer on the inside there with a screw. But anyway, it looks like this. Also, my drill, when I was drilling this hole up this way, I had my drill sort of ground away this, which is kind of annoying. So I wound up, I hit that with a tiny bit of the black spray paint, and now the whole thing looks a little bit ugly. But I have a feeling over time this is all going to get a little grimy anyway. So it looks like this when I turn it on. Now, I have my gauges, and I have this thing here. Doesn't get in the way of my knee. And I put on some, hopefully what is non-copyrighted Mozart. So, as I'm driving, you can see my foot is about here. My keys dangle there, and then my voltage and amperage gauges are there. And then that's how it looks. All right.